welcome to Tuesday's edition of bravetv. I'm Dr. Jason Dean. This is your source for health, freedom, and knowledge, and kind of some craziness going on right now. So while we're doing this, and I'll do the best I can because I have text messages coming in as well, we are having down detections in a lot of areas again. So just like 3 Mondays from this date when we had the quote-unquote cyber attacks, open source intelligence, again, behind the scenes, this is being internally done. So we'll get to that in a little bit. It is time for my good buddy, Chris Evans, Survival Dispatch, survivaldispatch.com. So chaos, but also good chaos in Chris's world, because we're going to talk about that in a little bit too, on all the good education you're doing. How are you doing, man?
Awesome.
You were on the road.
Very productive week. When you work 18 hours a day, you manage to accomplish something.
I tell that people all the time, like, what are you guys doing all day? Like, I have a lot of work to do. We get a lot accomplished. What are you doing, right? Not you, but them.
Yeah. No kidding. I'm just going to get my laptop set up here, broadcasting from the Grand Hyatt in Tampa Bay right this minute.
Ooh, I know where that is. Yeah,
we're fortunate. We have a niece who's been with Hyatt for 20 years, so we get great discounts. Get to stay in super nice hotels, and
hell yeah,
we're on multiple locations this week with the filming of Surviving Man Season 3. Cindy and I are hosting Surviving Man Aftermath, plus we're doing some walk-on stuff. I can't remember if I sent you the video or not, but they had a rubber match between the two squads in Surviving Man 3, and they put me in as the secret weapon for the team that was weight challenged, right? So we had Dr. Jennifer Stankus, weighs 110 pounds, soaking wet, and a couple other guys who are ultra fit but not heavyweights. And then on the other team, you have like Pilgrim James, from Pilgrim Ammunition, 300 pounds, and some other guy, I think his name was Kyle, 300 pounds. So they threw me in on the lightweight side to help them out. And as you know, I'm ultra competitive. And
nice, man. Nice. Staying busy.
We kicked ass, by the way.
What's that? You kicked ass?
We kicked ass. We won.
Did it feel good getting that physical active again to the point where you're pushing your muscles?
So the funny thing is that Cindy was like, man, as soon as you started telling everybody, pull, you all won. And I was like, I did? I couldn't even remember that. I had to watch the video afterwards and go, oh, shit, I still got that fire in there.
You just go into that mode. I love it.
Competition mode, man.
Competition. My wife and I were just talking about that on the phone before we came on the show. We were talking about competition. My daughter is now going to next level of gymnastics, and she's like,
nice.
And we're like, hey, we're going to start changing the schedule and the routine around, because, before she, would get to stay up a little bit late here and there because she's a homeschool kid. I'm like, nope, now we're putting in some decent, more structured rules, because if you're going to play at that level, you got to be, you're all in. Mom and dad were both athletes, so we're an athlete family.
100%.
Totally get it. So lots of stuff going on. I know I want to talk about promotional stuff first, and not because it's promotional, but because this is important stuff. I want you to take over. I have graphics if you need. You sent over to me. I have those ready to go, but I want you to really, really hone in on the education you guys are doing with Vax Choice and stuff.
Yeah, this is super important stuff. So, not in a joking manner, I truly am the Forrest Gump of the business world. I have been so blessed to be invited to so many things over the years and have this, the one thing I bring to the table is an extremely deep Rolodex. So this gentleman reaches out to me from Border 911, border911.com. So it's a C3, C4 headed up by Tom Homan. Tom Homan, of course, was Trump's director of ICE and spent, the better part of 30 years in law enforcement, specifically focused on the border prior to that. The guy's like the ultimate subject matter expert. I'll tell you a quick funny aside from the video that's launching this Friday that we recorded yesterday. He has the front page of the Washington Post article on him framed on his office wall. And it was supposed to be a hit piece, obviously, right? And it says, Tom Homan, he's really good at deporting people. And of course, that's a badge of honor for him, right? And so before we hit the record button yesterday, he's like, within hours of Donald Trump getting back in office, we're going to start the largest deportation in history. And we're going to start by throwing all the Democrats, politicians out of the country. Then we're going to hit the illegal sort of thing. He's awesome. So here's the thing, border911.com. So this is Tom Holman. They're trying to raise $1.2 million. So not a large sum of money in the grand scheme of things, to do a 12-city tour across the country between now and the election, to make sure that people truly understand the cost of Obama/Biden's open border. And if we can raise the 1.2 million over the next 4 weeks, there was a party that had April the 4th booked at Mar-a-Lago, and they canceled. And so they forfeited the reservation and their money. Donald Trump called Tom and said, if y'all want to use this, you can. But in order to do this kickoff, they've got to sell the tickets to it in advance, right? And this is not money making. Obviously, it's a 501c3/C4. So nobody's making money off of this. So we're trying to do the best we can to help them raise money. We've volunteered. Todd Callender, who owns Cloud Hub, has volunteered to help with this. So we assembled this amazing team, right? So we had Tom Holman. We had, I can't remember Derek's last name. He was the head of CBP Special
Derek
Forces.
Maltz?
Years. Yes. Yeah, that's it. Oh my God. What a genius guy. By the way, his entire wall behind him, headshots of children who've died from fentanyl. It is his mission to stop this flow of fentanyl, unmitigated flow of fentanyl into the country. We had Keith Graves from Christian Warrior Training, who also was a 30-year drug and gang interdiction specialist. He trains law enforcement around the country now. We had Kyle Rays. One of his many ventures is law enforcement today. I don't think people fully grasp how big that is. He gets over 100 million impressions per month on law enforcement today. It's absolutely huge. I'm trying to think. We had Doc Pete Chambers. This is a really big deal. So he was Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Pete Chambers, okay? 39 years in our armed forces. And I cannot speak to the veracity of this, but I have no doubt that there's an element of truth to it. I was told prior to this recording that he was the man who went to Greg Abbott and said, you either have the DPS and National Guard do something about the southern border, or I'll make sure you never win an election again the rest of your career. He puts his money where his mouth is. He is funding cavalry that are patrolling our border right now, private militia, essentially. And I know militia is a 4-letter word these days, but it's come down to that's what we need to protect our border and protect our country, because people, I don't think they realize just how dire the circumstances are. I sent you a trailer that we've published, and Tom Holman speaks. And one of the cases that they've had is a 6-year-old child being sexually assaulted and molested. I was just corrected. 6-month-old, not 6 years.
Yeah, I'll play that in a second. But I saw that video clip. I was like, I had to stop watching.
This stuff will make your blood boil as far as the true cost of this open border policy, which we know why Obama want the open border. They want all these people to vote for the Democrats, number one. Number two, they want to wreck our culture. So, they can take us out as the last, we're the last man standing when it comes to globalism. We go down, there's nobody coming to rescue. The world goes down. That's it. Like this is the buck stops here sort of thing. So we're going to promote the heck out of this. We will be doing a follow-up, by the way, in 2 weeks with some additional subject matter experts like Sheriff Mark Lamb. He was hoping to be involved in the recording yesterday, but he's at a sheriff's conference and just couldn't squeeze it in. But we're going to keep hammering away on this border issue through to the election, because even some as aware as we are, Jason, there's stuff that's been shared with us just in the course of the past week that I'm telling you, it's blood boiling stuff. It makes you so angry when you hear this stuff that it's unbelievable. And let me just throw this one little thing out there too, because this is the type of stuff that's in your wheelhouse. Todd Callender has a researcher who has been doing nothing but FOIA requests for public officials across the country, from the installed admin down to low-level city councilors, as far as their oath of office. Nobody in the Biden admin has a valid oath of office.
That's correct.
Not one. And so they're not notarized. There's nothing like that. You've got over 50% of the sheriffs in the country do not have a valid oath of office. So why would that be? And it's really simple. You can't get charged for treason if you didn't occupy the office legally in the first place. These are illegal occupiers of public offices, and many of them, do you realize almost all of Biden's admin are dual citizens between Israel and America?
Oh yeah.
Their loyalty doesn't.
There's people on X. There is so many people pissed off about this dual citizenship, which is like we should be pissed off about this.
Well, Mayorkas is born in Cuba, naturalized American citizen, and same for Israel. Where does his heart lie? It's certainly not with us. He didn't give a shit. He's just another one saying that the border is secure. He's such a lying sack of shit.
Let me run this. Do you mind if I run this trailer real quick?
No, by all means, please.
Let me run this. I think this is important. So watch this. It's 57 seconds, everybody. So let me widen this up for you so that you guys can see. Whoops.
I care about people. And when I worked on this border last year, I saw a lot of things that happened, and I was looking for what I call a needle in a stack of needles.
When an enemy nation assumes substantial government functions, they've won the war.
Look at this. This is a 6-month-old baby that was raped. 6-month-old raped.
But the reality of it is that every state is a border state right now.
If you recover 100 pills, 100 fentanyl pills, 66 of those are going to cause a fatal overdose.
We've even heard stories of gang members actually getting hired as law enforcement.
This is Truth Be Told. Truth Be Told, hosted as always by attorney Todd Callender.
Good stuff. Not good stuff, but needs to be told and needs to be talked about. Here's the promo for this. It's on Vax Choice, which, as I talked to Chris Moore, I'll show where you guys can watch everything, okay? But yeah.
Yes. So it'll air at 12 noon on the Vax Choice channel on cloudhub.com, 12 noon Eastern time. It will then also run at 4 p.m. Eastern time on the Survival Dispatch channel on YouTube. And the version that's going on YouTube will be redacted. There's a tremendous amount of information in this video that if it goes on YouTube, they will nuke the video.
They're going to pull so fast, it's not even funny. Yeah,
so we're kind of in the habit now. Unredacted goes on CloudHub, redacted goes over on YouTube, and it's working though. It's getting the word out.
Absolutely, 100%. Key information, and I want to bring this up real quick just so everyone sees it. So here is the CloudHub channel. We'll make sure we dump that link in. This is their page. You literally just go over to channel, pulls it right up. This is the channel, so you see all this information here. You guys can watch it. It's free to use. Also, they're not taking any of your data, which is really important over with Todd and Vax Choice, but also CloudHub in general. So we'll make sure we keep promoting that and getting that word out and let everybody know how it works. But good stuff, man.
You can consume whatever content that you want on CloudHub with never creating an account and never being cookied, and none of your information sold to third parties. So Todd's mantra is privacy plus anonymity equals freedom.
Absolutely. One of the things that just kind of popped in my mind this morning, and you can keep on what you've been talking about, or we can go into this. It doesn't matter either way. We wake up this morning and there's some chaos out there because the systems are down out there too. I'm not trying to predict this, nor can I predict this because I don't have a timetable on it. But a combination of border crisis as well as all weekend, Chris, I was watching financial people who are not stupid. I'm also watching the fact that the Bezoses of the world, the Jamie Dimons of the world. Jamie Dimon, I think, just took out, if I recall correctly, 50-some% of his holdings in JP Morgan. We are days, month, 2 months, I don't know what away from them literally pulling the rug out from underneath the U.S. economy. while this border crisis is going on.
Well, and it goes worse than that. So when we have open source intel, we share what that source is.
Yep.
When we have non-open source intel, in some instances, we can hand out the source to people. We can tell them where the origin was. But in some instances, there would be repercussions for the source if we revealed who they are. And, if people choose not to heed what we release, that's up to them. It's not our job to force it upon them. But I can tell you this. So the last outage 2 weeks ago, that was 100% a Chinese cyber attack. This is confirmed from our people inside the U.S. Army cyber defense team. Okay. So the story of it being a CME, complete bullshit. A CME affects the ionosphere, hits the entire world, does not discriminate between countries or networks. Okay. Number two. So other people were saying, well, it was solar flares. There were 2 solar flares recorded that day. Yes, there were in the wee hours of the morning. And unlike CMEs, they don't affect the entire globe. They were strictly affecting Europe, had nothing to do with North America whatsoever. So then the next story was, well, this was a software issue at AT&T. Okay. So how does a software issue at AT&T take out many disparate locations for T-Mobile and Verizon? So T-Mobile and Verizon got hit really hard, especially here in the Southeast. So when AT&T said this is a software issue, they were trying to deflect from the fact that they have a decrepit, weak network, number one. And number two, we know for a fact that a massive amount of customer data was stolen during that intrusion. So I've spoke to multiple people who are experts in war, essentially, and they've all said the same thing. This was a warning shot from the Chinese that if you get in our way of repatriating Taiwan, we will shut down all of your infrastructure. So the interest level in the past couple of weeks on alternative, call it SHTF comms, has skyrocketed. We've got videos that are months old that were doing well, and they've doubled in views inside of the past 2 weeks because people are desperate for information. Honestly, if I take all of the intel that we've received, and we're talking open source, we're talking JTTF, Joint Terrorism Task Force, and everything in between, here's how I see this playing out. Our major infrastructure is going to be taken down. Cell phone service, internet, grid, those 3 things in particular. Okay. When those 3 things go down, stop and think for a minute. How many times have you heard me say we're never more than 3 missed meals away from anarchy?
That's part of the subject title today, because I'd say that all the time now because of you. Okay,
so follow me here. Everything now in the supply chain is done by EDI, electronic document interface. It's all automated by ERP systems, enterprise resource planning systems. Okay.
Yep.
So we've spoke before. Your grocery store has 3 days worth of food on the shelf. When the stock level drops to a certain point, the ERP system blasts out a PO to the supplier, distributor, or manufacturer, blasts out a bill of lading to the shipping company, does all of the accounting pieces that go with it,
right?
100% automated over the wire. Okay. So you got 3 days worth of food. The Chinese, either in conjunction with or without Russia, Iran, and North Korea, because they've all teamed up on some of this stuff as far as the cyber attacks are concerned, you've now stopped the flow of all goods. Everything.
Correct.
The supply chain is 100% shut down. Okay. Also, communication is shut down with the exception of those people who probably have satellite phones, satellite devices, or have established alternate comms with big antennas and high-powered radios. Doesn't matter what radio you buy. If the antenna is not high enough to give you line of sight, you're not going to get any distance out of any. You could spend a gazillion dollars. It's still not going anywhere. So here's my next point. We know that we have thousands of terrorist cells now, and a cell could have 10 people, could have 100 people in it. So it's not like we're saying 2,000 cells is 2,000 people. That ain't the case. Okay. 10 million people, 1% are bad guys as a very conservative estimate. That's 100,000 bad guys occupying force inside our borders. I saw a black guy in New Orleans yesterday walking to a major intersection, and he showed all 4 corners, and there were these illegal invaders in packs waiting on each corner. His words, not mine. He said, these are the new niggers, and they're just waiting to be activated. They're just waiting for somebody to say it's go time. And, whether that's true or not, that was his perspective as a black man from New Orleans. But I can tell you this, that if we have no communications and we have no food, look at what people do for a Black Friday sale for a TV. Imagine what they'll do for food, right? It will be complete and utter chaos. So people who haven't started prepping yet, they needed to start yesterday. The basics: food, water, alternate means of shelter if necessary, ammunition, communications, and more important than all of that stuff, to be quite honest, is training. The more skills you have, the less you need. So, there's some really bad stuff on the horizon. Let me tie this into the election quickly for you. What do you think happens if this unfolds? Martial law.
Oh,
What do you think? You have martial law.
I'm convinced martial law before the election.
Can't have an election.
Correct.
Can't transfer power. You know what I mean? So and none of this is happening by fluke. It's all on purpose.
So if anyone sees me playing with my phone while I'm talking to Chris, it's not because I'm ignoring him. I've learned to do multiple things while live because you have to. My open source guy is texting me as you're chatting, and I go, "Hey, I'm hearing cyber Chinese," and he said PLAs, People's Liberation Army, deep state Chinese government military. But then he says this: he was just notified they will ground aircraft next, Chinese parts and malware.
Yep. So on that topic, all right, so depending on whose estimates you want to believe, there are somewhere between 20 and 30,000 Chinese special ops soldiers now in the country. Okay. So big difference between special forces and special ops. Okay. Special forces are the badasses who go in and, kill somebody like Osama bin Laden. Okay. Special ops are guys that typically work in the back end. That 20 to 30,000 special ops Chinese trained soldiers, do you know why they're here? Because they can attack our infrastructure from inside the country, meaning all of our networks and everything that goes with it. And so we now have that occupying force as well. And a lot of this stuff is opportunism on the part of smaller terrorist groups. But the fact of the matter is that the system is incredibly fragile. Take these things out. What are you now going to do? How long do you follow? Do you do anything on X? Do you read it at all?
I'm on X every day.
Okay. So
it's fortunately, unfortunately, my main news now because it's where I can get most information.
And very fast.
Very fast.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. How long would you have to scroll through your X news feed to find 10 instances of horrible crimes being committed against Americans, like 10 on 1, ganging up and beating the shit out of somebody, murder, rape, all these sort of things? How long would it take you just to put just 10 separate instances of that together?
No time at all, especially if I know where to look.
Matter of minutes.
Yes,
right?
Very fast.
We did one on how the gangs are exploiting our border, the cartels. I kid you not, Jason. In 10 minutes, I put together 30 links that we covered in an episode of Survival Dispatch News. And we blew through them at the beginning of the episode because I told everybody links will be down below. So, don't worry about consuming everything on these pages. I'm just trying to set the stage for our subject matter experts. We had comments from people saying that they couldn't get through it because they were crying. Had no idea just how bad this stuff is, right? So, I mean, we're on the verge of some really bad things happening here. And I've never been that Chicken Little guy, but all of the signs point towards this.
Having fun yet?
This is pretty distressing stuff. I won't use the words of the left. Everybody on the left is always terrified of everything, and that's speaks to that side of the equation. But I think we should, if it's okay with you, talk self-defense a little bit here, because this is only it's already important, right? Did you see that, on X this morning, there was a story of some girl who was disabled. I can't remember what she had, Down syndrome perhaps. And there were 5 other girls, I won't have to name the demographic, that beat the living shit out of her. That's just, this is just a common occurrence. But the bad guys always like to attack weak weak targets, right? So at the end of the day, you have to increase your situational awareness and make sure that you can defend yourself, and also be aware of where you're going. There's certain places that you just shouldn't be, not just after dark, but during the day by yourself. There's far too much opportunity for bad things to happen. So
I'm telling
I
you,
would,
man, I can't go to a
wouldn't-
gas station anymore without Chris Heaven in my
that's
fucking
brutal,
head.
man. The stuff I've seen at gas stations over the years is just unbelievable.
I
And
pick
I'll
them
say
out
that-
specifically now because literally the other night with my daughter, 8 o'clock at night, I'm looking. I don't even pick out the same gas stations anymore. I'm picking out the cleanest ones I can find, the most light. I mean, I would do that anyway, but specifically, like I'm looking for. You changed my whole world on that one. I know it sounds dumb and simple, but like it makes it. You do that.
Depending on the jurisdiction, gas stations are a top 5 location for you to be assaulted.
Right.
And it's almost on a daily basis now. Actually, here's an interesting one that's now gotten into the top 5. It's become a thing in certain shitholes like Chicago. Is they're carjacking people while they're waiting in line to get their fast food because they're essentially trapped. They have a vehicle in front, vehicle behind. They can't pull out. These thugs, end up assaulting the driver, whoever else is in the car, throwing them out. The car in front of them pulls ahead, and they run away with their, with stealing the people's cars and pocketbooks and everything that goes with it. So
Crazy town, man. Crazy town.
another dangerous location. But when we spoke offline, we discussed a little bit as far as, self-defense and stuff. And I want to just cover a couple quick things here.
Yeah, go for it.
As far as firearms are concerned. Number one, and I am not an attorney. I am not offering legal advice. I was taught this many, many years ago. Most police unions, if the cop is involved in a shooting, they're whisked away to the hospital immediately. And the premise is that that officer may need medical attention, okay? But it also gives time for an attorney to arrive so that that cop is not questioned under duress, high state of anxiety, and says something that could potentially hurt him in court or in the long run, okay? So I was told by a 30-year PD many, many years ago, said to me, God forbid, but if you're ever in a citizen-involved shooting, number one, if you call 911 or somebody in your party calls 911, you don't say, I shot somebody. There's been a shooting at this location. I need a couple of ambulances right away, and get off the phone. When when the first responders show up, excuse me, you say, I'm having chest pains. I need to get to the ER right away. So now you end up in a squad, you're taken to the ER, and now that gives you time to call somebody like attorneys on retainer or CCW safe. Those are the only 2 options that are worth a shit as far as self-defense protection is concerned. USCCA, US Law Shield, these are insurance policies, and insurance is forbidden by law to pay out any benefits if you broke the law. Well, 96% of criminal charges are pled out, misdemeanor, no contest, whatever the case may be. As soon as you do that, they have the right to claw back all of their money. They have the right to cancel you as a client. So you now have no protection for the civil lawsuit that will surely follow, as well as any benefits paid out on that. Attorneys on retainer will defend you no matter what happens, okay? And CCW Safe will do the same as well, plus pay benefits. Those are the only 2 worth going with, okay? So essentially, I'm having chest pains. I need to get to the hospital. On the way there, call attorneys on retainer, CCW Safe, whichever one you have a membership with. They dispatch an attorney before you are, interrogated. You have them by your side. Here's something that people need to know as well. If that doesn't unfold that way, it is against the law for a police officer to go on a stand and say that you invoked your 5th Amendment rights. Against the law. So if you think by saying to the cops, I'm not saying anything till the attorney gets here, they will pressure the shit out of you many times to try and get you to say something. And I've heard, stories of where they basically said, well, you're admitting guilt and that's going in my report and blah, 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 blah. They cannot report. If they say that in court, the whole thing's getting tossed. So That's the stuff on like the logistics of protecting yourself. God forbid that you're in
Sure.
this type of situation, right? But there's a saying in the survival prepping community: 3 is 2, 2 is 1, 1 is none. Okay, so when it comes to self defense and weapons, it not only applies, it's the fact that guns are different tools for different jobs. Okay, so if you've never shot indoors with no hearing protection, like an accidental discharge or something like that, it's extremely disorienting. Pardon me. Your ears will ring like a son of a gun. So now your situational awareness has dropped.
Mm-hmm.
This is not good stuff. It's not fun stuff, right? So I've been a huge fan of suppressed 300 blackout for years for protecting your home. Number one, okay. These guys here build amongst the best short barrel rifles and AR pistols in the world, and this is an example. This is the best tool you could possibly have for home defense. So this is a 300 blackout SBR, has a suppressor on the end, and that magazine fell out. I'll just grab it. And these are 300 blackout subsonic rounds. So when you shoot inside your home with a suppressor and subsonic rounds, you don't have to have ear protection. So you're not going to be disoriented. You're not going to blow out anybody else's hearing, maybe the intruder. But this right here is the ultimate for home defense if somebody breaks in. And if you're into quality, and I would never skimp on guns because the tool could save your life. U.S. Arms Company, we don't get paid anything by them. I've handled a lot of guns over many years, and their stuff is the best of the best, and I'm not trusting my life to something that's not at that level. But then let's say you get into pistols, and I'll just cover this really quickly. So this is a little Hellcat. You would see like a SIG P365, similar, footprint to the size of this. You can stick it in your pocket. You can use it as a backup weapon, so you could put it in an ankle holster. I don't really recommend ankle holsters most of the time because there's lots of incidents where somebody went to retrieve their firearm and got kicked in the face by doing it. But as a backup location and a backup pistol, good idea. Anything that we have, we only use Pilgrim ammunition. So that's a 50 grain 9mm projectile traveling over 2,000 feet per second. This company, Pilgrim Ammo, we don't get paid by them either, has destroyed our relationship with every body panel manufacturer out there because it turns body panels into Swiss cheese, okay? Survival Dispatch 10, though, get you 10% off on their website because they're good friends of ours. We've done a ton of videos on this. That projectile goes in 3-4 inches, breaks into fragments. The hydrostatic shock is extreme. So if you hit somebody in the shoulder, and this will not overpenetrate, will not go through. Virtually every other round on the market does. We've got gel block videos that we're going to publish soon. Hornady Critical Defense, Hornady Critical Duty, Hornady XTP, all these self-defense rounds, they go through a 16-inch block of gel with a wound channel the size of my pinky or smaller and out the backside. So now you're risking killing somebody else. This ammo not only doesn't overpenetrate, it has way more energy. And when you hit somebody, you wing somebody like this, it'll turn their heart to jelly, even though it didn't hit their heart. And it weighs next to nothing. The first time I put these in Cindy's gun a few years ago, she was like, "Yeah, you forgot to load my pistol." I'm like, "No, I didn't." And she said, "Yeah, well, it doesn't weigh nothing. You didn't load my pistol." And I had to show her how light these are. Speed kills, best self-defense ammunition, bar none, on the market, right? So you've got this little small guy for a backup weapon. So in a perfect world, you have something that's more full-sized. So like a Staccato, this is a Staccato duty pistol, and Staccato P it's called. So this is a 2011, which is the next generation of 1911s. This is a 20 round mag. So you've got 20 in the mag, 1 in the chamber, 2 spare magazines. You have 60 rounds. He who has the most bullets wins. And this is a high-end pistol. It's not the highest end, but it's pretty high-end pistol. The thing functions flawlessly. Every time I give this to somebody to shoot, between Pilgrim ammunition, which, by the way, has virtually no muzzle flip and no kickback to it because it's plus P ammo, With this gun, they don't want to give it back to me because their groupings are so accurate and so tight. This thing is just incredible to shoot. And then there's another old saying that says 9mm for the hoods, 10mm for the woods. So this is a full-size 10mm pistol, and you're now talking a pistol. And by the way, this is prototype ammunition from Pilgrim Ammunition. You can't buy this just yet. This is a bear killer, so you can split a bear's skull with this. So if you really want to do serious damage, you go up to a 10 mil with appropriate ammunition. And yes, it's a lot bigger than a subcompact, but like my friend Keith Graves from Christian Warrior Training frequently says, if you end up in a shootout, say like an active shooter situation at your church or something like that, you're going to wish that you had a full-size pistol. You have more capacity, you have way better accuracy. So the downside to the full-size, of course, is bigger, it's bulkier, it's harder to conceal, blah, 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 all those sort of things. But same thing goes with everything else in life, right? First thing you do is decide what you want. Second thing you do is decide what you're willing to give up to get it. But that little small grouping of guns, here we go with the bubbles. Can I do it again? Nope. I've given up. I've turned it off 1,000 times, keeps turning itself back on again. But what I basically ran through here, so again, U.S. Arms Co., you get a 300 blackout pistol or SBR. This is an SBR with a suppressor on it. People love to argue about different types of guns and stuff. You don't have to worry about this penetrating walls and killing people in other rooms or in the house next door. You don't have to worry about hearing protection, but it's still a 30 caliber. So it's got a ton of kinetic energy behind it. The other advantage, so the way I have this configured, by the way, you'll see that there's an EOTech optic here and there's a hollow sun on the side. If I catch the camera angle just right, you'll actually see that they're on all the time. The batteries last for about 55,000 hours-ish in these things now. But this is not only a backup sight on the side, but when you're maneuvering through a home or a building and you're trying to peek around corners, this is a lot easier to get around the corner than trying to do this. The optics should always be raised to your eye, not the other way around. You don't lower your eye. So if you're trying to, slice the pie around a corner with something like this, you're going to have to get down on it. It's not a good shooting position, whereas this is much better. I can see around the corner without revealing as much of myself. So that really comes down to the training aspect that I mentioned over and over again. Going to the range is good for sighting in your optic. It's good for getting familiar with the controls on your weapons. That's it. It's not good for anything beyond that. You need to take training from professionals where you're running and gunning and you're under some sort of physical stress and duration. We just interviewed a guy in Surviving Man Aftermath a couple days ago, and he's a law enforcement officer, and he went through some training, and his smartwatch said that his heart rate was 180 beats per minute. And this is going way back when, before he really embraced the fact that you got to train and then train some more. And he said his accuracy was just horrible. So we're back to this scenario. Human beings never rise to the occasion. They fall to their level of training. So if you train while you're on the run under physical duress and the shit really hits the fan, you've already been there. Your body's already been there. So you can perform at a good level. Whereas here, I think I may have mentioned this stat before we wrap up. What do you think the percentage of shots fired by police officers in the United States actually hit their target?
Oh, shoot. Was it 30? I don't remember. You told me once.
It never goes over 20%. It's currently 18%. So these are trained professionals during the heat of a battle can only put 18% of their shots on target. So again, this is why it's so important to have stuff like Pilgrim Ammunition, where you have this massive hydrostatic shock going sideways and causing just the amount of damage this causes is unbelievable. So now, even if your accuracy is off a bit, you can still, stop a threat with this type of ammunition, as well as the fact that as people's heart rate gets elevated and their anxiety level gets elevated, all the fundamentals go out the door. They pull the trigger too hard. They miss their target. they have a jam. They're not thinking clear enough as far as clearing it and going on to the next thing. So train. These are perishable skills. You got to train all the time to keep them up to speed. But, you do not need a 16-inch barrel or longer for home defense. As a matter of fact, if you put a suppressor on the end of a 16-inch gun, you're now unwieldy. It's hard to slice the pie, which means getting through a doorway or a fatal funnel. And so SBRs, AR pistols, suppressors, 300 blackout, backup pistol to your main pistol, full-size pistol for your primary weapon, gives you the maximum amount of shots. I'm not a lawyer, but that's my off-the-cuff advice to people who want to put themselves in the best possible situation for surviving.
Brilliance. Chris Heaven, survivaldispatch.com. Appreciate all your work, buddy.
100%. Thank you.
Travel safe. Keep up the good job.
Yes, sir.
Take care. Chris Evans, survivaldispatch.com. He's every Tuesday at noon. Great information. He is on the run. He is traveling. I did not expect stuff to be going down right now. My Facebook is not down. I don't know what everyone's talking. I mean, I know people are having issues and things are going down. Here's the other thing, folks. You know what? We have to turn into a productive society. There's way too many people who are getting way too concerned about why social media goes down. We will not survive as a society when everyone's worried about Instagram and Facebook. I have built into my mind that Facebook does not even exist. I'll tell you, I have right now, this is how garbage Facebook is. There's like 12 viewers right now. I know like people, oh, it's going down. That's why, no, the most we ever get is like a couple hundred views. Rumble's far superior at the moment. And quite honestly, Instagram has totally shadow banned me for the time being. I can't get over 11,900 people no matter what I do. I don't even know Facebook exists other than sometimes I decide to post on there and get people riled up if I want to. Stop worrying about these platforms. It's quite hilarious because quite honestly, you know, everyone's like, oh, I don't care about this stuff. Well, it's not true because social media blows up with everybody going, oh, I couldn't get on. You need to get rid of your dependency on this garbage. I'm not opposed to social media. I use social media every day. I'm not dependent upon social media. Well, Dr. Dean, what would happen if Rumble goes down, the whole thing goes down? I don't give a shit, to be honest with you. Like, this is our problem as Americans. Here's a question for everybody. Things are shifting. Anybody had any sinus issues recently? Anybody had any headaches? Any muscle tension? Any lightheadedness? Any dizziness? Any blood pressure or pulse issues? I'm curious. Anybody have any postnasal drip or problems when they're consuming dairy recently? There is an absolute shift going on. I don't typically have those issues. There was some lightheadedness, nothing crazy, but I could feel it. Head pressures, absolutely. I'm telling you right now, go grab ear issues because ears are part of the sinuses. Runny nose, yes. This is going on. So I noticed this the last couple weeks. I noticed I was getting a little dizzy. Not dizzy like I'm going to pass out, but like I could notice it. And I can feel it internal in the brain. Guys, this is not some crazy thing that they're doing against us. This is your atmosphere shifting and changing. Para 3 is a winner for you right now. If you're having any of these issues, Para 3, get your hands on that. Going to help you out a lot. Okay. This is part of the shift that's happening. You're going to also experience this up through the eclipse, most likely. Okay. It's happening, okay? The grid is down. And by the way, as the internet and grid is down, let me make a statement. All right. Here's some insight for you guys. Here's the insight. All right. There's new people out here. I know because some comments were, I don't like the way they talk. I don't like their swearing. All right. Here's my warning for you at the beginning of 2024. Here's my warning for all of you who are watching this and are going to watch this later. Especially the new people. Stop being so fucking sensitive. Toughen up. Grow some balls. Grow some ovaries. Stop being so fucking sensitive out there. I swear to God. I made a comment to someone earlier. Well, maybe you should blah, blah, blah. Maybe you should not be so sensitive about stuff. I seriously, I laugh when people are like, well, we need to be tougher in America. The ones saying that are the ones that get all fucking cranky about stuff. There are a lot of people out there being really sensitive about bullshit. Like, seriously. I don't cry every time someone doesn't agree with me or someone doesn't like what I'm saying. Who gives a shit? I have friends all over the world who don't agree with what I'm saying. It's hilarious. People don't like some of the things that I say, and they won't come up to me and talk to me because they have some weakness about this thing. And like, who gives a fuck when people don't like everything you say? I'm friends with people who I don't like everything they say. I don't agree with everybody in my life. I don't know why this is so challenging for people. Seriously. No, but this is a real problem. People really think that you have to agree with them or it becomes a sensitive topic or subject. Irritating as shit is what it is. So there's a running joke behind the scenes. How many people out there have seen the show Curb Your Enthusiasm? How many people have watched Curb Your Enthusiasm? They're in their 12th season. Curb Your Enthusiasm with Larry David, who is the main actor, but also he was the writer for Seinfeld. How many people have watched Curb Your Enthusiasm? The reason I bring this up is I completely resonate with Larry David. And people are like, well, he's a super liberal. I don't give a shit if he's super liberal. He makes fun of MAGA and Republicans on the show. I still think it's hilarious. America has this problem of they can't talk to anybody that they don't agree with. I am the Larry David of, you know what? Some people, I just don't like you. Why? Because you're an asshole. You're an idiot. That's why. I don't care. Well, do you want to go to this? No, I don't want to go to that. Why not? Because they're morons and I don't have time for that. I'm not triggered by them. I'm just not going to be around them. It's as simple as that. Well, we don't really want to talk. We don't want to talk to you because you said something we don't like. Who gives a shit? Most of my friends are people that I don't fully agree with. I may not agree with them on a certain subject. I don't know why you can't handle this, America. I don't know why I can be around people I don't even like. It does not bother me. Why does it bother me? Because I don't give a shit about what their problems are, what their thoughts are. I can be around somebody who I agree with most of the time, but I diametrically oppose what they believe in. Who cares? Why do you care? I sat in the middle on a plane My wife and daughter had another row because we got the seats late. I sat next to one person on my left who is, I don't know, she was multiple pronouns. She had a Black Lives Matter pin with a black fist on top of a LGBTQ plus rainbow. That was on my left. On my right was a gay-looking person who was wearing a mask and looked terrified. My wife says, "Oh, that must have been fun." I go, "I didn't bother me a bit. I don't give a shit if I'm next to a transvestite and a gay person. It has no effect on me whatsoever. I don't know why people can't handle this shit." Do I agree with them? I do not agree with them. I could very easily sit there and have a conversation with them. It would not bother me one bit. Why does this affect so many people? I would tell them to their face, I don't agree with you. But I don't think you're evil and you're the devil and you're going to go to hell either. I think that's stupid. Like, I am a Larry David personality. I don't know why people give such a fuck in this life. What? If a trans person came up to speak with me, I would speak with them. Now, if I don't like them, I'm not going to stay around. But like, what? This is an American problem. I don't. And the reason why it has nothing to do with gay or trans or anything. The whole point is, America, you're triggered constantly. And I don't understand why you're triggered constantly. Everyone's sensitive. Sensitive is bullshit. Like, it literally is. I don't give a shit about the other person. I also don't have to go out and talk to people, or I can talk to people. Why are people not able to adapt in this world? Here's another shocker. I can talk to somebody in a kind manner without agreeing with them. I still have people who say, I don't know why you had that guest on. We don't agree with that. I don't give a shit if you agree with it or not. I can have interesting people come on and talk to them and totally not agree with them and still shake my head, nod my head yes, that I understand what they're saying. Let me tell you another aspect of one of my problems in life. Here's my problem in life. Stupid fucking people. I mean, honestly. Let me show you. Now, I'm not going to say I don't like this person. I think they're a good person. But I also think stupid fucking comments are completely unnecessary. Let me take you to it. And by the way, this will get me banned from them. I'll probably never have them on the show. They don't email me back anyway because everyone's super offended by what you say. Right? Mabe JR, that's right. You have to respect yourself first. See, I respect the shit out of myself. I am very comfortable in my own skin. Therefore, I don't give a shit about what people think about me. Now, will I occasionally go after people who write stupid comments? I will. Because if you're stupid enough, I don't want you in my space. Okay. Let me massage my pineal gland for a moment. For stupid comments. Let's talk about stupid comments. Now, before I show you this, I respect the hell out of this person. I don't have a problem with this person, but I can recognize stupid comments. Maybe we'll have a stupid comments segment of the show. Today on Brave TV, this is the stupid comments segment of the show. Ouch, what hurt? What hurt, SL Holmes? What hurt? Bo Polney. Bo, I love your work. This is a stupid comment. He says today, hey, XRP Army, your boy, XRP, is beginning to look more and more like that movie Left Behind, with Sheeb up 350% and Theta up 200% in the past 2 weeks. while XRP is up only 25%. Also, Bitcoin is up 200% in 12 months. Are you beginning to see that you may have been deceived? I'm sorry. Bo, I love you. What are you talking about? Are you really comparing SHIB to XRP? Now, before anybody calls me out, is XRP a banker's coin? It sure is. We're not stupid, but clearly you haven't done the homework. Theta is up. Theta was at $12. I bought Theta at $7. So when you sit there and tell me that it's up 200% and it's a bigger mover than XRP, I bought Theta at $7. It's not back to $7, everybody. So I don't know where you're getting 200% bullshit. My God. Yeah, the credibility. I'm not going to go too crazy today. I'm going to stay sane. it's going to be Serenity now. Serenity now, everybody. Serenity now. XRP is being signed on by multiple banks around the world. It's not going anywhere. It's a bridge currency. Instead of worrying about what everything is going up in price or percentage, everybody, why don't you simply worry about what the technology is behind everything? If you concern yourself with just the technology, then you won't have to worry about what everything does and why. And Bitcoin is... Anyway, my point of this today was we are entering into the stupid world. It was a clown show. Now it's just stupid world. People are just being like stupid. And I don't know. I might be around Bo this weekend. That's fine. Again, I don't dislike the person. I have stupid comments sometimes. If you go through the last 8 years of bravetv / Revolution Health content, you will find, I guarantee you will find at least one instance of me saying something stupid. So when I say this is a stupid comment, I'm not calling him a stupid person. It's a stupid comment. I've also made stupid comments. Don't make just like, God. More gold, more silver. Who has questions today? What kind of questions do you have? I had an interview last night with somebody that I thought about posting in the evening, but I might run it on Friday. I spoke to Dr. Anna Mihalcha last night for an hour. And there was some information, 2 pieces of information that people are going to want to know about. I have the recording. I will not be available on Friday, so I will probably run that as a brand new premiere on Friday at noon. I'm thinking I'm going to do that. Because it's really, really, really big news. Not good news either. It's not something I have to tell you now because your life is in danger. It's already been done. A couple days is not going to change anything. But people are going to need to know about it because it takes this to a different level. It takes toxicity to a different level. Should consideration be given to neck adjustments when scoliosis is present? I don't like this ride. You have to give me further details on what that means. What are you talking about? Should consideration be given to neck adjustments? Clarify that, please. There's a lot to that. Para 4, very powerful. Everybody get over there. to bravetv.store, support the channel as best you can. What happened to, we didn't have Morley yesterday. He's traveling. Morley did not speak yesterday. Okay. Any other questions while we go through crazy town right now? My wife messaged me. She loves me. I love you too, sweetheart. Thank you. Yes, the jab made a lot of people a lot dumber. Oh, God, yes, it's so true. I'm getting more open source intelligence coming in. I'll let you know what comes in when it comes in. Any other questions before I cut the feed today? Because right now I'm having a problem with society. Having a problem with society. How much para 3 should a 2-year-old have? Yeah, just a couple of drops is fine. I mean, if you work with the office, we can help you. I am looking to potentially have a big ADHD chat or webinar on Friday. A big ADD, ADHD webinar on Friday, possibly. I have not made it official, but I'm not going to do it if people aren't interested in doing it. We either have to have a swath of people or I'm not doing it. Para 4 will take the emotions with you. They will bring out emotions. These are gut products. What's the longest I should do a Para 1 and 2 protocol? You can do it as long as you want to. There's no time on it. This is not medication, everybody. I don't sell or promote medications. These are supplements. You can take them as long as you're alive. I'm not saying it's going to help to do that, but yeah. Para 4 did not make you sick. Para 4 was killing things that are making you sick. The parasites and the bad bacteria are making you sick, not Para 4. Supplements don't make you sick, everybody. Supplements start moving the physiology. Do I follow Sabrina off and on? So part of me has left the wireless body area network discussion. Do you want to know why when I say I left it, I still follow it, but I follow it on my own. Do you know why I'm not following the wireless body area network crowd? Let me tell you why. I don't like toxicity. I don't like toxicity in a situation where you don't need, like, and let me state this. I have discussed things with Karen Kingston regarding Internet of Bodies, all this different stuff. Whenever you do an interview with a Karen or somebody else, Karen Kingston, they attack. They attack like you're holding something back. We're not holding anything back from the wireless body area network people. It's unfortunately, I'm not saying all of them. I think Sabrina's fantastic. But some of these people in this world are toxic to the core, and I'm just not going to follow their shit. Here's the other part. I have offered interviews with people in that group, that group, not saying anyone specific. I've offered interviews. You know what they say? This is what they say. Let me tell you how this works. I'll say, hey, you should come on and talk about what you know. We're not doing interviews right now. What the fuck does that mean? We've decided to take a step back. We're not doing it. Wait, so you have information that is key to people, and you're not going to go on air and talk about it? Okay, so like, why are you on your high horse where all of us are putting ourselves out there? This idea and mindset that like, well, we're not doing it right now. Then I don't want you on. If you can't take the time to put your shit out there to help people with, then whatever. There's some toxic people in that spot. And I just frankly don't have time for them. When could I give Para 3 to my baby? Don't worry about your baby right now. Don't worry about a 5-month-old. I mean, if you want to, use the kids protocol. Yeah. Okay. I am working right now on a platform where all of you will be brought in who are in the Full Moon Protocol group. The Telegram group is going away, and we're going to bring you into a private group for the ones who are in the Full Moon Protocol Telegram group. If you have not purchased, you will not be in that group. You will only be in that group if you've actually opted in, gotten a protocol, and we're going to get that group re-going in a proper way and a private platform. Okay? So keep an eye out for that. I'm gonna get it done as fast as I possibly can, just so everyone knows, okay? Fantastic, everybody. I want you to have a great rest of your Tuesday. Hang in there. We are here to reverse metabolic enslavement and work on reversing neurobioweapon devastation. Love, serve, and help. Hang in there. I'm Dr. Jason Dean. This is Brave TV. Everybody have a great rest of your day.